And to the other point, we are working on localization. We're not out in Europe or Australia on the Switch yet because we look at Europe, not like the UK. So like, our game is so nuanced in terms of its language that we're working to try to work with a localization team that can tell our story the way we want to tell it in the various languages, which is hard.
Right.
You need to work with people who are known for translating problematic like jokes, like jokes that could totally come off the wrong way if written, because the jokes are everything. It's they're written. I carefully crafted all the language in this, and it's still probably going to get lost in translation a little bit, but at least
so baked in like American urban like culture, really, so it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, it's you exactly.
It's like I've had arguments with people outside the country that like don't understand like, what racism is, or don't that are from like rarely all white countries or whatever, who just don't understand the problems. And then there's people in European countries that there's this movie Black Power Mixtape, which is a documentary that was filmed in the 1960s and then didn't come out until the 2000s, and it was actually for the better for it because it had like Questlove and Talib Kweli in it to talk about like what was going on, and it's like amazing. It's a documentary, and they were filming it from like the point of view that like white people are crazy in the country. They think that racism doesn't exist, and let's talk to black people about this. And they even started off where they talk to a white person and they say, do you think anyone, regardless of race, and succeed in this country? And they talk to a black person, and the white person's like, yeah, of course, you got to do this. And the black person's like, nope. And so, they had this thesis. So it was like, European people do have this, but a lot of European people don't, because it's just not part of their reality. Whereas in the city, like, I don't think this even translates 100% outside of the city sometimes, where people are like, I don't understand the commentary. I don't understand this. I don't understand that. It's why people call things divisive when they don't understand it, because they don't understand that it's like someone's lived experience.
Well, that's always going to be like the problem, I feel like, with any media that does tackle this type of material, really, in terms of like baked in racism, systematic racism as well, because like a lot of people just don't experience it or live it unless they actually do in their day to day, unless they actually grew up in like a certain area or whatever it may be. But like that is kind of like the great thing, really, is like, what it is that you're doing as far as like, masking it with comedy, but you're still kind of telling your tale. You're still telling these stories that either you experienced or that you've heard from other people, like from actual real world experiences that people have experienced. And, just being able to, kind of get that story out there so that more people may be able to, I guess, like realize that this is very much a thing. Because it does drive me like a little crazy as well, since I go to Ireland quite often, like to visit family and everything. And it is very much like that, like over in Europe, where racism isn't necessarily kind of like seen as a thing, or not seen as like being a big deal, because that history isn't baked in there as it is here, So it is important that you do get to tell your story, and that more people will be able to kind of realize it through your point of view.